It's all about the Macro Productions.
What does the goddamn line say, Tony?
Please do not use gendered language.
Then what? I'll be arrested, put in airport jail?
Look, you're going completely sideways, man.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
How dare you?
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dave on NBC.
Jack Marius Tack Theratrix.
Hi, I'm Spartacus.
Dave Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. Steven Seagal.
Sex offender guy.
I'm Keith Morris.
This is Muammar Gaddafi.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Sorting through the lies.
The hijacker's passport was found blocks from the World Trade Center crash site, if you can believe that.
We cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
And uncovering the centuries-long plan for world domination.
Learning about Cuba, having some food.
Let's talk about Chinese people.
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison? Swangles in Fort Lauderdale?
I have sent 6 of my Libyan missiles to blow up the Sears hardware department.
Nothing could be more fun than jumping off a cliff with 2 German bisexuals.
Oh, you English are so superior, aren't you?
Thank you, comrade.
And now, Macroaggressions.
That's what assholes call it.
With your host,
Buddy, I don't know who you are, but you're about to get chlamydia.
Charlie Robinson.
Hey, Whitey, where's your hat?
You want to drop the blame on Charlie and say it's all Charlie's fault.
He was a retard.
I get some goddamn diuretic.
Welcome to Macroaggressions. I'm your host, Charlie Robinson. If you're watching us on Rumble, Band.video, Vigilante TV, or you're listening wherever podcasts are served, thank you so much. We appreciate your support. I really mean it. It's been, it's been almost 600 episodes. We're plugging away. I hope you like the show. If you do, if you think we've earned 5 stars, go ahead and give us that rating real quick. Share it with people that you think might enjoy it. If you want to connect with me, macroaggressions.io is the easiest way to do it. It's a website. You can go there. You can find information about the books, which are available as audiobooks as well, if you're interested in that. We've got information about the podcast, Day Zero, Union of the Unwanted, Macroaggressions, and also Activist Post and Natural Blaze. We got a lot going on. So if you're interested, go to macroaggressions.io and check it all out. And we appreciate our sponsors. I really mean that. They help to keep us in business. Thank God I got good ones. I don't know what I'd do if I had shitty sponsors. I have Chemical Free Body. I have the best supplement maker in the world. They've been with me since the very beginning. I should be so fortunate. You go to chemicalfreebody.com/macro and you just do yourself a little bit of shopping over there. If you're interested in getting yourself healthy, supplement market is scammy. It's filled with a bunch of stuff that doesn't work and just waste your money. But Chemical Free Body is different. They are committed to making sure that their products are actually working. I've been taking it for over 5 years. I drink Grain 85 every day. It works. I know it works. You'll know it works too. If you go ahead and just take it, go over to chemicalfreebody.com/macro. Take a look at the Detox Bundle. It's a 90-day program. It's fantastic. I mean, you just do that and then talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, people complain about having struggles with their weight and their health and everything. I get it, but there are solutions out there. And if you're looking for clean water, if you've got a Berkey filter or you're trying to do it your own, you got a Brita filter, like a little pitcher, good, you're on the right track. You're doing the right things. But Chemical Free Body has a water hero. Have you heard that? Go over to their site and read up about it. Structured water. You can use it. You can set it up and have it run through your entire house, or if you're just want to try it out, get one of the pitchers and just do it that way. But there's a lot going on over at Chemical Free Body. And of course, we love Tim James. So go to chemicalfreebody.com/macro, or if you're on the site somewhere, just use the promo code macro to save some money. And also to our good friends at Legal Shield, who have been doing this for, half a century. In the United States and Canada, is the best money you'll spend. And you want to talk about getting your money's worth. In a world where everything is 3 times more expensive than it should be, it's $1 a day for Legal Shield. That'll get you in the door, get you access to an attorney in your area that has, on average, 22 years of experience. They can knock out all kinds of legal documents for you right away. I'd do that in the first month. If you don't have a will, get one. If you don't have a medical directive or a financial power of attorney, you got to have one. If something bad happens, like during the COVID era, and you're stuck in a hospital and it's bad. You know, it was all theoretical until COVID hit. And then we saw what happened when you don't have your shit together. But I have news for you. There's a solution. We're solutions based over here. Okay. Emphasis on the based. And you can go to don'tgetpushedaround.com and just go check it out. See what you think. See if it's right for you. If it's right, pull the trigger. If it's not, that's cool. No big deal. I just want to make you aware that these things are out there, that Legal Shield exists, and that if you need help and representation, this levels the playing field a little bit more. So that's why we chose the name don'tgetpushedaround.com. I like the idea of us having the ability to stand up for ourselves. So if you're interested, it's over there. Check it out. Well, I'll tell you, I've been sniffing around these globalist lunatics for a long time, and they're always up to no good. It's just a matter of degree. What are you guys doing? What are you working on? Why is this so secret? What is this other group that you've started? You guys all love to start groups. What are you doing in these groups? You getting together and you're just patting each other on the back for being such good guys and saving the world? I really doubt it. I know a thing or two about what happens at these events. These are designed to centralize power into the hands of fewer people. And whenever you want to decode what these guys are up to, and you take a look at their organizations, take a look at their mission statements, or even just the name of their entity just in general, and then invert it. Because whatever it is they say that they're doing, it's the opposite. They're never really going to be honest with you. They don't like you. They don't like any of us. They don't respect us. Why would you? Are you going to level with an ant? Give it to them straight? No, you don't. You just step on them. That's how they see us. They're not asking for our permission. They're not questioning whether or not we're on board with their agenda. They're going to do it anyway. So when I see something like the Giving Pledge, and I go, oh, wow, it's a pledge about giving. Let's look into what the Giving Pledge is. Where are they giving their money? Well, guess what? Formed in 2010 by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett to look like a charity funded by sympathetic billionaire oligarchs. You know, they're just out here saving the world. So call me, I don't know, a little bit suspicious when Bill fucking Gates, the eugenicist, multi-generational eugenicist, wants to help. I'm just a little bit suspicious when he's out there helping. You know, because whenever he goes to help in places like India, 500,000 kids wind up paralyzed and thousands of other wind up just dead. So, when Bill Gates decides to help, you should get out of the way. All right. So when I see something like the Giving Pledge, and it's just Bill Gates and his grandpa buddy Warren Buffett, they're just playing backgammon together and going to Dairy Queen and having an ice cream, and they're guys just say, hey, Warren Buffett, he's worth $100 billion, but he still lives in the same $400,000 house in Omaha, Nebraska, and still drives an old Lexus. He's just like you and me. Don't you see? He's just like us. Yeah. That's what they would love for you to believe. That they're here to save the world. Thank God Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are coming to spread around a little bit of money and get all their rich oligarch friends involved as well. The guys that are normally involved in depopulation, but they've put all that aside just to come together and give their money away. If there's one thing I know about psychopathic, bloodthirsty, billionaire oligarchs, is that they love giving money away for nothing. They just love it. Ask them for money. Tell them I'm down on my luck. Could you help me out with a little bit of money? I'm sure they'll just give you buckets of it, whatever you want, right? They just give money away for nothing. Sure. That's how they got to where they are, by giving away their money to the poor. Because they love the poor. I wish this was true. It would be nice to think that you lived in a world where sometimes the wealthy, the ultra wealthy, look in the mirror and say, I have more than I will ever spend in this lifetime or any multiple lifetimes. I have the ability to do something nice. I have the ability to make other people's worlds better. Maybe momentarily, maybe permanently. I have the ability to do that. If you have the ability to do that, and your priorities are instead, let's figure out how we can murder most of the people on the planet, then you're a bad guy. And this is a group of bad guys. So what I want to do with this episode is I want to talk to you about the Giving Pledge, because it's inverted, as you might expect, with a charity, air quotes charity, started by Bill Gates. Your suspicions are correct. So we'll dig into it a little bit. I want to list who's in it. You're not going to like this list. I'll detail the list. I'll talk about. Well, I'll go into some detail about the list. Then in other ways, I'll just kind of breeze through the second half of the list. There's a lot of people on the list. I mean, we're talking about 250 plus people. I won't go through all of them, of course, but I'm just going to mention some of the ones that have names that are either relevant, that you would recognize, or they're names that maybe I recognize that I think are dangerous, or I'll have a specific religious slant to it. Yeah, it starts with the letter Z. Yeah, there's a lot of that on the list. We'll address that, of course. We'll talk about the strings that are attached, because, of course, you're not giving away all this money without there being strings attached. You might not be giving away this money anyway. We'll talk about the mechanics of it all. And we'll end by talking about where it is. It's been 15 years, and we'll talk about what they've done, where they're going. And also, a part of this group that overlaps with another extremely dangerous group. We'll get into that a little bit more towards the end. But yeah, I think that this is just one of those episodes where you're going to go, okay, I understand. I this list makes sense. The names I recognize. There's a lot of them on here. I feel the same way you do. And then you'll just go about your daily life. This isn't going to change your world too much. But in the future, when you catch some of these names or you hear this term, the Giving Pledge, you'll just be a little bit more, I don't know, you'll have a deeper understanding of what they're actually trying to do. Spoiler alert, it ain't given. It ain't given to the poors. They hate the poors. They want them dead. See, this is the important component to really understand going into this. And it's the same thing I say about government. You know, when people talk about government, how do you view the government? And this, I say, okay, I start from this premise: the government hates your guts and wants you dead, and then you work from there. From that point, you boil it down to its fundamentals. The government hates you, and then reason up from there. Okay, if I know that the government hates me and wants me dead, then I can make calculations. If the government is offering me a solution to a problem that I don't currently have, I'm not going to be taking the solution. If they talk to me about a pandemic that they're going to be in charge of and they're going to fix, I'm not going to be involved in that. You understand? So when you set your barometer differently, you know, when you set it, if your barometer had been set where mine was pre-COVID, the vaccines, the push, none of that would have even affected you, you know, because your baseline starting premise would be, they hate my guts and want me dead. How are they trying to kill me with this? You know, and you go, well, they're trying to give you a shot. Oh, all right, well, then I won't take that. And then they want you to do this, and then they want you to put a mask on your face, and then they want you to stand 6 feet. Well, okay, well, whatever it is they want me to do. If they want me to stand on one leg and hop, whatever it is, give me the list of the things that you want me to do, and I won't do any of them, simply because you're the one wanting me to do it. So this group is an investment vehicle. It's not a charity. It's a charity in the sense that it's called a charity. They pretend that they're a charity and that they try to act like a charity, but they're not really a charity. No. This is an investment vehicle used to leverage people, companies, and even entire industries to bend to their will, to the will of this group. They can set the global priorities of the world with this much money. If you think about it, the amount of money that these groups support. So what is the Giving Pledge? We'll start with that. What is the Giving Pledge? The Giving Pledge is this: Bill Gates, you know, because he's just a philanthropist when he's not being a full-on rapist. He came out and said, I'm just such a good guy. I love giving all my money away. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this group called the Giving Pledge. And I'm going to go talk to all of my billionaire buddies. And I'm going to say to them, we've been so fortunate. We have all this good luck and all this prosperity. You know what I really want you guys to do? I want you to commit to giving at least half of your money away, either in life or in death. And I want you to sign this pledge. It's the Giving Pledge. You are going to sign this pledge, and then you're going to write an open letter explaining why you signed the pledge. And it's non-binding. The pledge is not a legally binding document. You don't have to do any of this. We'll get to that. You don't have to do any of it, ... So they didn't. So we'll get to that. But this is the point, is that you're going to get all these people together. And what they say is that instead of giving my billions of dollars to my shitbag kids who will for sure squander it on crazy things and wind up destitute at some point, I'm instead going to give all this money to Bill Gates, with his eugenics and depopulation ideas. That's much better. So they want, this is what billionaires are constantly doing. And the Gates Foundation came out of the Rockefeller Foundation, which went through the same thing. When you get bad publicity, like Standard Oil being broken up or Microsoft going through antitrust regulations and things like that, you wind up saying, well, we need a vehicle that can help me with public relations. And so you start these foundations, and the foundations are used as charitable foundations. We're going to put money in here and then we're going to distribute it out. And it's not legally a charity, but it's a foundation. There's technicalities in that sense, things that you can do, things that you have to do, things that you don't have to do. So what they do is they pool their money into these foundations, these charitable foundations, which are actually just tax shelters. They're not really going to give their money away. This is the point of it all. Think about that. Let me ask you just the most logical question around. Do you think that the mentality that you need to drive somebody to accumulate $100 billion is the same mentality that you would need to have to give that money away? Because I think those two lines of thought are incompatible with one another. I don't think anybody who is so driven to make as much money as possible is going to get to the finish line and then give it all away. I doubt that. And especially when you understand what it takes to get to the top, right? The throats that you had to step on and the backs that you had to stab and all of the horse shit that comes along with moving up that ladder and the people that you have to fuck over in business deals or maybe outright murder. I mean, there's a lot of dead bodies in the wake of these billionaires, okay? So what are you going to do? You're going to be the guy who claws his way to the top, eliminates all his competition just to get to the pinnacle and give it all away. That's incompatible with logic and reason. That's not what these people do. That's not who they are. That's not how they operate. That's not why they're there. That's not how they function. They don't do this. This is a scam. And if it were, if Bill Gates wasn't the head of it, it might have slid under my radar. But when you have 210 billionaires that have signed the Giving Pledge to, quote, give away, which is not more than half of their wealth to charitable causes while alive or dead, I'm going to need follow-up. I'm going to need to see what has happened in the last 15 years. We'll end with that, but I will give you a spoiler alert. They have not saved the world, in part because they don't plan to. That's not what this is about. It means, says this is a quote it means being part of an energized community to discuss challenges, successes, and failures, and to share ideas. Okay, fine. The Giving Pledge is a community of billionaires that get together to discuss all of their successes and failures. You're a billionaire. How many failures have you had? Not too many, not at least in business. And to share ideas about how they're going to deploy this capital by guys like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And so what they do is they describe this, they say this is a mentorship. If you become a part of the Giving Pledge, one of the things that you get in addition to giving away your money, you don't give it away. You don't give it for nothing, right? You get something out of it. You get to be mentored by one of the worst people in the world, Bill Gates, which is great. I mean, that's a win-win, right? They meet up once a year for 2 days And they're very proud of their schedule. They say, we start at 7 a.m. and we conduct meetings, post-dinner meetings. Like we're just working all day long, 2 days straight. Sure. So what are you working on? I guess that's the question. What do you guys get together and have these meetings? What are the topics? Well, I'm glad you asked. The topics include criminal justice reform, poverty, of which they don't like that. They want to get rid of. They want to end poverty by murdering everybody who's poor. They talk about aid. They talk about public health, which is code for depopulation. They talk about early childhood education, which also involves depopulation. They talk about medical research, which is code for depopulation. They talk about environmentalism, which is code for depopulation. And they wrap it up by talking about women's empowerment, which is also about depopulation. So they're just talking about empowering women, educating kids, saving the environment, fixing the public health. They're just do-gooders. They're here to save everybody. So the Giving Pledge is about saving the world or something like that, right? Combined net worth of the first 40 pledgers in 2010 was $125 billion. That was just the first 40. And that was 15 years ago. I think if you left those 40 in there with $125 billion net worth and gave them 15 years, I don't know how much that's worth now. Quite a bit more. It doesn't matter. There's 256 individuals, couples, and families who are members of the Giving Pledge. They have signed it over the last 15 years. There's 110 U.S. billionaires on the list, worth a combined $1.7 trillion that's just sitting on this list. So I want to talk to you about that. Let's just think about that for a second. 110 U.S. billionaires worth $1.7 trillion who have decided that they're going to give away at least half of that. So we're looking at, $800 or so billion. Let's round up. Let's just say $1 trillion. They're going to give away $1 trillion to this group. What do you think $1 trillion in the hands of Bill Gates, a world-renowned eugenicist, will do? How many people do you think you can murder with $1 trillion? Because that's what this is about. It's not about helping people. It's never been about helping people. If it was about helping people, you wouldn't be a eugenicist. This is about depopulation. And it's also about networking. Fantastic place to network. I mean, you're just around a bunch of people that also have a ton of money, influence, power, leverage, the ability to open doors that might not have been open to you before. This is a great networking opportunity, Come for the giveaways, stay for the friendships. Just making friends like crazy. 80% of the donations actually go into private foundations. So what they say to this group is, you don't have to give your money to us necessarily. You can run it however you want to run it individually. If you want to run it through your foundation, all you have to do is just pledge that you're going to give the money from the foundation to us in the end, right? But do it however you need to do it. So it's not that everybody's writing a check for $1 billion. Although Elon Musk did give $7.5 billion to these guys already. The majority of the people here are pledging that they're going to be giving their money. Now, are they going to be giving their money or not? Well, no, they're not. But this is a massive concentration of power and wealth that you have to keep an eye on simply because of the co-conspirators involved in this. So I said I would mention who is on the list. It's a very dangerous group of people. Just don't let their wealth fool you. The things that they've had to do to get this wealth puts them on a list with some of the worst people in the world. Truly, when we get done with this, you'll notice a theme. You'll recognize a lot of these names. So we'll start with the top, right? It's Warren Buffett from Berkshire Hathaway and Bill Gates from Microsoft and Gates Foundation. Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett is worth $150 billion. He's not a sweet old man from Omaha. He's a dangerous dude who has great PR and has always had that. And he doesn't look like Klaus Schwab. He doesn't put the robe on and speak with a German accent. So he doesn't sneak up on you. he's just the guy that owns Dairy Queen, and you think he's in large stakes in Coca-Cola and McDonald's and places like that, and you go, oh, he's just an American businessman. Yeah, well, you keep thinking that if you like. And then, of course, Bill Gates, co-founder, and his Melinda Gates, French now that they're split up. She doesn't want much to do with him. I think she knows. When the trials come, she'll be hanged with the rest of them. I'm not trying to give her a pass on this, but I think Melinda Gates, she's involved. You don't move up the ladder like this. You're not running the Bill and Melinda Gates Fund. I mean, she's had her name on it, who's deeply involved in eugenics and depopulation and murdering people with their vaccines. I mean, these people are all co-conspirators. So I'll put her on the list and not give her the benefit of the doubt simply because she's a woman. When you put your name on the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and then you go around and murder tens of thousands of children with your vaccines, you get the Nuremberg treatment too. I mean, I would say that everybody on this list is guilty of massive crimes. They'll not be prosecuted, of course, but we'll go down this list and then you tell me. All right. And this is in no particular order. This isn't based on, maybe a case can be made. It's alphabetical order, but it's not meant to be. We'll start with Mark Benioff, Salesforce. He's got a net worth of $9 billion. By the way, I went through the Forbes list recently. I went through the most recent Forbes list and got all these net worth numbers. So you can just take them for what they are. But as of this moment, this is what Forbes is reporting. So $9 billion. He's the founder of Salesforce. He's a World Economic Forum global leader of tomorrow and a young global leader. Ding, ding, ding. This will come in handy and later in this episode. Keep this in mind. Mark Benioff is the owner of Time Magazine. You remember Time Magazine, where we had the former editor of Time Magazine talking about how he was the chief propagandist in the Obama administration, that he doesn't have a problem with propaganda. He thinks everybody should every country uses propaganda, and he doesn't see a problem with it. So that's Time Magazine, started by founder Henry Luce back in 100 years ago. And this has always been a deep state rag for propaganda, well formulated propaganda, but propaganda nonetheless. So he's got $9 billion, but he's not going to have $9 billion after he gives it all away to Bill Gates, right? Maybe you should talk to his accountant first. Zionist, Mark Benioff. Again, that's going to be a running theme throughout this. We'll move on. Michael Bloomberg's on the list. He's also a Zionist. He's the founder of Bloomberg Financial Terminals. You know about those. If you worked in finance, you would. He was the mayor of New York City. He's currently the 15th richest guy in the world with a net worth of $109.4 billion. But don't worry, everybody. He's going to give half of that to Bill Gates. And then they're going to go, sprinkle fairy dust on the world and save everybody while skipping and holding hands. Richard Branson is on this list of Virgin. He's got an island not too far from Epstein's. It's called Necker Island. Do you know the story about that? It's a funny story. He was trying to impress a girl he took down to this island and said, I might be buying an island. And he took this girl on a trip down the island, and he actually wound up buying it. It was a great investment. I wonder what goes on at Necker Island. There's a lot of things that have been alleged over there, but I don't know, maybe just Peter Nygaard's island in the Bahamas and Jeffrey Epstein's island and the Virgin Islands and Richard Branson's island in the Virgin Islands. Oh, I don't know. Maybe just a coincidence. I mean, Epstein's dead for running his sexual entrapment operation. Peter Nygaard's in prison for running his. I wonder what Richard Branson's doing on his island. Oh, I don't know. Probably nothing. Anyway, moving on. Larry Ellison is on the list. He's a Zionist, of course. He started Oracle. His first customer was the CIA. Oracle is what you would call a CIA front company, period. That's what it is. Larry Ellison works for the CIA. Sure, he's the CEO of Oracle, and you could say that he runs Oracle, but he also works for the CIA and always has. He's a hardcore eugenicist. He wants everybody dead. And the way he's pushing to do that through the Trump administration is through AI vaccines that he announced with Sam Altman. Sam Altman's also on the list. He's also a Zionist as well. big surprise. Larry Ellison has a net worth of $270 billion. Okay. So this is not somebody that you want to take lightly. This guy has enough money to get a lot of things done. Let's see. Who else is on this list for the Giving Pledge? Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein on the list, right? Is he on the list? No. He almost joined. Okay, here's the story. He almost joined, but he isn't officially on the list. He's unofficially on the list. He's a friend of Bill's, FOB. When you're a friend of Bill's, you can be on you can be a part of the group, but it might look bad if we had Jeffrey Epstein on the list. So he's written in pencil, so to speak, in the Giving Pledge. And again, I don't know if it's his money to give. You know what I mean? Jeffrey Epstein's. I mean, I don't know how much of that money he made. I don't know how much of that money he stole. I don't know how much of that money was given to him. How much of that money was loaned to him? How much came out of Les Wexner? You know, I mean, you're signed on to manage Les Wexner's entire state. You have access to a lot of money. How did that happen? I don't know. I mentioned Melinda French Gates. She's on the list. Of course, she's worth $29 billion. She knows where the bodies are buried, maybe even literally. So she's an interesting person to keep. And Bill Gates is on this list. You know, Bill's net worth is listed at $108 billion. I don't think that's right. I think that's a little low. It's hard to tell with Forbes though, because you know, that money could be allocated in other ways. I mean, how much of his fortune went into the Gates Foundation as well? It's not about money for these guys, and they have all the money that they can ever spend. It's about agendas. You know, you've made all this money. Now what are we going to do with it? Well, you know what you're going to do with it. If you're in this club, part of your agenda is to depopulate in any way that you can. Glenn Dubin's on this list. You know who he is? Have you heard that name? He's one of Epstein's buddies. In fact, he's a billionaire hedge fund guy. He's Swedish wife who dated Epstein before. They have a girl, like a daughter. I think Epstein was involved in trafficking her. It's gross. The connections to Epstein with the Dubins, but you know, his wife was like a Swedish model or something, like Miss Sweden. I don't know. And Epstein was banging her, and then they've got a young daughter, and you know, who knows? When you're in the cult, who knows, really? Reid Hoffman's on the list. Hardcore Zionist, LinkedIn, Epstein buddy, venture capitalism. Prince Aliwad bin Talal was on the list. Saudi investments, $15 billion. He's got Edgar Bronfman Jr. from Seagram's Mega Group, Israeli spy, Zionist, obviously. He's sitting on God knows how much money the Bronfmans have, over 100 years of running alcohol and who knows what. Paul Singer's on the list, hardcore Zionist. He's got $6.7 billion. Dustin Moskovitz is on the list, Zionist. Again, Facebook co-founder, Event 201 financier. He's got venture capital funds. He's worth $19 billion. His wife, Kari Tuna, is involved in this as well. I put the women that are involved in this as well. I would drag them down to the police station and start interrogating. You know, I want to know what you guys are up to. You know, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Elon Musk is on the list. He's agreed to pay. I mentioned that he gave away a bunch of money. He's on the list. His estimated net worth right now is $415 billion. He's a member of the PayPal mafia. You know him. You might know him as the owner of X, the free speech site that isn't full of free speech. You know, SpaceX, Starlink, Boring Company, all that stuff. OpenAI, or XAI. He's involved in all kinds of things. Well, OpenAI as well. Pierre Omidyar is on the list. He's a Zionist. He's worth $11 billion. He started eBay back in the day. He's a World Economic Forum guy. He's the owner of The Intercept, which was used to get control of the Snowden files. But of course, you'd put a dark, devious, cunty Zionist like Pierre Omidyar in a position like that. Make sure that you own the news network that the guy goes to spill the beans on what they found, right? So he's on the list. Michael Milken, Zionist, convicted felon. He's went to prison for junk bonds in the 80s. He's worth $7 billion now. He's getting involved in what big pharma philanthropy. You know, he's just such a philanthropist now. After he went through cancer, I think he survived cancer. He is cancer. Michael Milken is a walking embodiment of cancer. David Rockefeller's on the list. You might know him from Standard Oil, the United Nations, remaking the American school industry, creating the pharmaceutical the entire pharmaceutical industry as well. It's great. David Rockefeller. David Rockefeller is going to give away half his money, guys. You believe him, don't you? He promises. He signed a pledge. It's non-binding. And, you know, his family's been working for 200 years to enslave the world and create monopolies and gain trillions of dollars. But they're going to give it all away, guys. Don't worry. Bill Gates talked him into it. It's fine. David Rubenstein is on the list. Zionist, founder of the Carlyle Group, super dangerous, or co-founder of the Carlyle Group. He's worth $4.6 billion. He's a member of Bilderberg. He's a member of Brookings. David Rubenstein does not have anything good. He was involved in 9/11. This is Ted Turner's on the list. Ted Turner, who says unironically that everyone needs to have one kid when he has 5. It's okay though. Which 4 of your kids are we going to throw off the cliff, Ted? You know, if we're being honest here, if we're going to be intellectually honest here with our feelings. Ted Turner is all about depopulation. He doesn't even care. He will tell you on camera with a microphone. Does not care. He wants people dead. He wants everybody dead, and he's one of the largest landholders in the country as well. And Mark Zuckerberg's on the list. He's a Zionist as well. He's worth $253 billion. He's the founder of Meta, sort of. He's a created. Mark Zuckerberg is a created story. He's got a fake backstory like the rest of them, coming out of his Harvard dorm room. I mean, of course, Bill Gates wanted Mark Zuckerberg to be on this list. They have the same origin story. Freshman dorm, Harvard University, starting a transformational technology company with stolen technology, whose parents were involved in all of this somehow, some way. Financed into existence by spooky entities, winds up taking the company public, winds up in antitrust lawsuits, threatening to break them up. Are we talking about Microsoft? Are we talking about Meta? Because they all have the same origin story. Almost like it's fake, right? Let's continue with the list. I'll just... Mackenzie Bezos is involved. Bill Ackman, Zionist, involved. Paul Allen, he's dead, but he was involved. Barry Diller, Carl Icahn were both involved in this. They're both on the list. They're Zionists. Again, I say the Zionist part because I don't trust Zionists at all. They tell you they're going to do something, and especially when it comes to money. Oh, you Zionists are going to take all of your money and you're going to give it away. And you expect me to believe you with your long track record of lying about every fucking thing that you've ever done, including what you had for breakfast? No, I'm not trusting the Zionists for anything. You get a big group of them together and they all say they're going to give away their money. Sorry, I don't believe you. Steven Schwartzman, Zionist. Ted Fortsman, Zionist. Eli Broad, Zionist. Edgar and Charles Brofman, Zionist. Yuri Milner, Zionist. Stephen Ross, Zionist, owner of the Dolphins. Robert Kraft, Zionist, owner of the Patriots. Arthur Blank, owner of the Falcons. Dan Gilbert, Zionist, owner of the Cavaliers. Patrick Soon-Shiong, co-owner of the Lakers. A lot of sports franchises, they got roped into this too. How's that going to work? How's that going to work, Bob Kraft? Zionist Bob Kraft, when you die and your Patriots are you going to give them away? Have you checked with your son? Because he thinks he's inheriting the team, right? Have any of these team franchise owners discussed this with their kids? Because their kids all think that they're inheriting these teams when their dads die. Does Bill Gates own half the team after this? What are we doing? Because I'm not buying any of this. Brian Armstrong from Coinbase is on the list. Steve Case from AOL is on the list. George Lucas, he's there. I have questions. I don't trust any of these people. But you show me Zionists that are enthusiastic about giving away their money. You show me them. Give me that list of all the people. If you can show me a list of all the Zionists who have proudly and and publicly given away their entire fortunes to charity, show me the list. I'd love to see it. And I mean the actual charities. I'm not talking about giving all your money to some entity like the Giving Pledge that isn't a charity, that it's something else. So, sorry, Eli Broad, Ted Fortsman, Steve Schwartzman, Carl Icahn, Barry Diller, Bill Ackman, the Bronfmans. For a group of people who find it so easy to lie, I'm going to need to see proof. I'm not going to be able to take any of these people at their word. Let's talk about some of this. Let's talk about the strings that are attached. There's strings attached. You don't distribute $1 trillion without there being strings attached, right? So what they talk about, the public-private partnerships, that's what this is. It's got that buzzword, so you know it's legit, right? Used to carry out what they call impact investing. That's an important term that they use, impact investing. It's not that we're giving away our money just for no reason. I need to see the impact of what my investing is doing. I need to be involved. Impact investing implies that you're going to be around for a while. This isn't, I gave you my money and then I'm out of here. Impact investing means we're watching these investments. I want to see what kind of impact they've had. I want to see if they're actually working. So I'm going to be involved in this. The NGOs are going to make sure that the Giving Pledge people participate in a circular economy, like a company store. That's what the oligarchs have done in the past, right? They create winners, other companies who have been added to the store. And then you lock out all other competition and make it so that the only place available to shop is the store that's controlled by the group that, like the Rockefellers, when they would open their mines in places like Colorado, where I am, they had a big problem there. They would, if you're opening a mine, it's not exactly back in the 1800s that you were going to commute to work on your horse or anything like that. You probably lived close to it. And they would set up these mining colonies. And the mining colonies were big, and a lot of people lived there and a lot of people shopped there, but you couldn't necessarily just go to the store. So they would build the store. They would build the store there. So it would be the Rockefellers that own the mines, and they'd hire these people to work in the mines. And then when they were off work, they'd come back to the camp where they were all set up, and any of the sort of money that could be spent there was all spent at the store that they controlled. So the money never really left. And so when I hear about guys on this list who have, David Rockefeller is on the list. His family knows how to do this. This is what made them stupendously wealthy, was acting like this, was treating people like this. So again, I ask you, with a mentality that treats people so poorly normally, what makes you think that they're all of a sudden going to change their ways and be generous, patrons of the arts all of a sudden? They're going to just sprinkle money around and make everybody well. You're going to have some sort of evidence to lead you to believe that that's a possibility. What in their past history shows you that any of this is going to happen? What has Bill Gates done that makes you think he's going to make the world a better place? Explain it. If you know who he is and what he's done. Has Bill Gates given away money to food banks? No, he's buying the farms. He's squirreling away organic seeds in the Svalbard seed vault in Norway so that you don't get access to them. Is that charity? Does anything about that sound like charity? Of course not. They say innovative approaches to provide access to education, healthcare, privatizing industries to fix them. They want to privatize industries and fix them with the Giving Pledge. So my point is that if you take a look at all these people on the list, besides none of them having the emotional capacity to be charitable, it's incompatible with their personality type. It's not how you get to where you've been. You don't get there. You don't get to have $11 billion like Pierre Omidyar does without cutting some corners, without knowing the wrong people. If these people are giving away money, it's only for tax purposes. They're putting their name on a school, on a university building somewhere. It's because they're getting it. It's a tax deduction. This isn't goodness from their heart. They don't have a heart. There is no goodness. When psychopathic billionaires and trillionaires get together and start talking about how they want to save humanity and give away all of their money, you should be instantly suspicious. Okay? There are no good guys on this list. None. This is what the Ford Foundation did. This is what the Carnegie Foundation did. This is what the Rockefeller Foundation did. People they miss it when it comes from a foundation or an organization or a charity. All you have to do is tell people it's a charity and their guard goes down immediately and they go, oh, okay, well, it's fine then. Do whatever you need to do or take money from whoever you need to take money from. It's fine. So this is their mentality with things like this. Really, just anything. Find a problem, find something that the government is doing right now that they don't do well, and then privatize it. So remove the responsibilities from the government, the public, and let businesses, private, do it instead. When I talk about public-private partnerships, this is what I'm talking about. The public part is the government. The private part are the companies. And the public-private partnership is when the government says, we're barely capable of being a government. We're certainly not good at doing X, Y, and Z. Why don't you guys do this in the private industry? You guys are good at X, Y, and Z. This is what you do. So why don't we pay you to do it? The whole, who will build the roads? They go, oh, without government, who will build the roads? It's like, well, you're right. The government won't build the roads. They'll hire the company next door to build the roads. The company that is in the road building business. That's what they'll do. So who will build the roads? I don't know. Depends on who gives us the best bid. That's who will build the roads. It's not like roads don't ever get built. I mean, this is the mentality. So it's like, who will come in and save the day? Who will save the day? Is it the guys who have a track record of murdering people? Probably not. You think the government's going to come in and save the day? No. You think Bill Gates and his crew are going to come in and save the day? No. Do you think it's probably more likely that the people who have spent their entire lives dominating industries, putting other companies out of business, do you think that maybe instead of this actually being some sort of charity, it's instead about making money and controlling people instead? You think that's a possibility? You think that it might actually be about making more money and controlling the marketplace? Because the list of people that I just read off, they have the money that they have because they've been controlling the marketplace, putting their thumb on it, and maybe just being better than. I'm not trying to hate. I mean, if you're successful running a successful business, good for you. There's smart ways to do it and bad ways to do it. That's why a lot of companies go out of business. So, credit where credit is due. If you're building a company, there's a lot that goes into it. But when you have an unfair advantage, like Bill Gates and his group and all that, it's not surprising that you would win. Okay. So I think that their plan with all of this is to do what they've always done, which is network, get together, make decisions that benefit them, privatize any of the profits, and socialize the losses. So if there's any sort of losses, you just pass them off to the people. And if there's any profits, then you keep them for yourself. That's the public-private partnership. That's how it works. If it's successful, the private people make money. If it's a failure, the failure falls on the public, on the government, and the taxpayers. So if you lose, then it's taxpayer money. If you win, then it's private money. That's how it works. Isn't that fair? Privatize the profits while socializing the losses. The oldest trick in the book. If you have control of government, or if you have friends in government, you can make that happen. So they talk about something called donor advised funding and directed funding. And this is held by a nonprofit, a third party for tax purposes. So again, not that this is a surprise, but it's a tax shelter. That's what this whole thing is. I mentioned that I would get into an alarming overlap that they have. Well, the World Economic Forum people and the Giving Pledge, there's a lot of familiar faces. Not a surprise, right? But these ultra competitive psycho billionaires aren't giving their money away. They're investing it. They're activist investors in public-private partnerships. So they aren't giving their money away with no intention of getting it back. They are clicking up into an extremely powerful group, telling the world, we've got all this money behind us. It's not liquid. It's tied up in foundations, other people's foundations, stocks, whatever. I mean, it's not liquid money, but it does represent a large chunk of financial power. And this group of activist investors will remind you that the emphasis is on investor, because that's what they are. They're not do-gooders, okay? The Davos crowd is the same group, essentially. And I'll read off some of the names. Bill Gates, obviously, Michael Bloomberg, Pierre Omidyar, Mark Benioff, Mark Zuckerberg. We're going through a lot of these people you've heard before. Same group. Giving Pledge and World Economic Forum. Larry Ellison, Reid Hoffman, Brian Armstrong, Ted Turner, Steve Case again. Some interesting people. Scam, bank run, fraud. Remember him, Sam Bankman-Fried? He was a member of the Giving Pledge. He was going to give away all his money, except that wasn't his money. He stole it. So he's going to give away all your money. Very charitable of him, I would say. Another Zionist who's has no problem giving away the money that he stole from you. Great. Except that he was never ever going to give it away because he's a liar, and it wasn't his money because he stole it, and he is where he belongs, which is in federal prison for a long, long time. But of course, Bill Gates doesn't care. He'll take his money. It's not like there's some sort of moral bar that you need to clear to be a member of the Giving Pledge. I mean, holy shit, it's some of the worst people in the world. I mean, Sam Altman's on this list. He's a World Economic. Again, this is the Giving Pledge and World Economic Forum Venn diagram interlocking circle. There's a lot of it. Richard Branson, Reed Hastings from Netflix, Anne Wojcicki of the 23andMe group. And of course, now we have to look at this through a different lens, because when the Giving Pledge guys are all also part of the World Economic Forum, you go, well, that's a problem, especially now that Larry Fink is in charge. Because it was one thing when Uncle Klaus was just doing his best Star Wars impressions and everyone was laughing at him and thinking about, oh, this is just a crazy old man in a costume, and maybe he'll make good on his threats, maybe he won't. But nobody questions Larry Fink. They know what he's capable of doing. I mean, in just 30 years, almost 40 years, he's turned BlackRock into one of the most powerful companies in the world with $12.5 trillion under assets of assets under management. So Larry Fink is going to be a big problem with this. So you take the ideology of the World Economic Forum, which is already bad. You infuse the leadership of Larry Fink, and then you take all the money that these guys have in the Giving Pledge, and you've got access to a lot of that cash to do whatever you want to do. So the World Economic Forum has found a funding mechanism that will keep them viable for a long, long time. So, these are, I guess, in wrapping it up, we would say these are not trustworthy people. Okay. If the Giving Pledge was, founded by Mr. Rogers, who was on TV, who everybody universally loved and everyone wanted to dig up dirt on him, and there wasn't any, he was just a good guy. If Mr. Rogers started the Giving Pledge, I probably wouldn't have even peeked my head into it. I wouldn't have even looked. But when Bill Gates and his group and Warren Buffett and all these guys talk about giving their money away, you can give it away now. Why don't you give it to me and I'll distribute it? I mean, I would be better at distributing money than you guys would. If you're really about giving it away to help people, there's better ways to do it. There's different ways to do it. It's just that the same personality types that make 10 figures are not the same kind that give it away at the end. They just don't. They want their names on the buildings and they want eugenics under the cloak of environmentalism, and they want the tax shelter. And, many of the people that are involved in this, they say that they're going to self-direct their, through their existing legal structures, their charities, their offshore trusts, their foundations, their LLC. So they talk about how they'll be involved, but it'll be after death, of course. I wonder how involved Jeffrey Epstein was with putting this back together back in 2010. Because this was the time he was working with Gates. I mean, actually, he was working with Gates sooner than that. And he knew many on the list. And as I said, he was sort of written in pencil. I mean, he was on, there's reports that he was on the list, but you can't find him on the list. So I'm going to say that he wasn't, just to be on the safe side, and say that he was a hang-around, maybe not a full patch member, but a guy that was there. Maybe he inserted himself into that. Maybe that's one of the things that when you're Jeffrey Epstein and you do a lot of work with Bill Gates, sometimes, when Bill's starting the Giving Pledge and wants to have, doesn't maybe want to have you around, maybe he doesn't have a choice but to have you around. If you're Jeffrey Epstein and you have the goods on him and everybody else. I don't know. But so we'll wrap up with this. Looking back after 15 years, what do we have to show for it? Well, of the 256 billionaires who have signed the pledge, only 9 have actually followed through. So again, when I say at the beginning that I have suspicions about these people and that I don't trust them and that their word means nothing to me and that if they say they're giving away their money, I'm never going to believe them. Well, the reason why I don't believe them is that only 4% of the people actually followed through. One guy gave away his entire fortune while alive. The only guy on the group who said, I will give away my fortune. And I'll give it all away. And he actually did. And he said, I will not wait until I'm dead. I'll give it away while I'm alive. A guy named Chuck Feeney. Never even heard of him. He's the only guy on the list. I think they were surprised that somebody actually did it. So, as I said, it's a public commitment. It's not a binding contract. There's no enforcement component to this. They sign an open letter explaining why they're giving away their money. And this pledge is meant to inspire other people, but not actually follow through with it. You didn't read the fine print. We're not really giving our money away. We're going to make it look like we are so that we can get other people to join and start to give their money to the Giving Pledge. Please don't fall for that trick. Please don't fall for that trick. Lastly, not to be outdone, launched in 2020, the Jewish Future Pledge wants wealthy Jews to donate 50% of their money to Israeli or Jewish causes. Sorry, guys. You lost me after 9/11. Hey, if you like this episode, you can take the additional step right now of sharing it with your friends and family. Rate the show. Give us 5 stars if you think we've earned it. Connect with me at macroaggressions.io. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you again soon.